At 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, a single bomb exploded over the city of Hiroshima. In less than 1 minute, tens of thousands of people were dead. An entire city had been destroyed. The weapon that caused it was built in complete secrecy. The world would never be the same again. Before the explosion, the city of Hiroshima woke up like any other day. After years of war, it felt as if life was slowly returning to normal. There was no sign of what was about to happen. Within hours, the city would look completely different. But to understand why the bomb was dropped, we had to look at the conflicts that had been happening around the world. By 1945, World War II had destroyed much of the world. Tens of millions of people had already been killed. Entire cities across Europe and Asia were destroyed. In Europe, Nazi Germany had surrendered, but in the Pacific, the war continued as Japan refused to give up. The United States joined the war after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. American soldiers fought across islands throughout the Pacific. Battles such as the Battle of Okinawa showed just how deadly the war had become. American leaders feared that invading Japan could cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of lives. But at that same time, scientists in the United States were working on a secret project. They were building a weapon unlike anything the world had ever seen. In 1942, the United States launched one of their most secret scientific projects in history, the Manhattan Project. This project was led by physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer. Its goal was to build an atomic weapon before Nazi Germany could. Thousands of scientists worked together in secret laboratories across the New Mexico desert. On July 16, 1945, the first atomic bomb was tested. The test was known as the Trinity Test. Now that the bomb was complete, President Harry S. Truman faced a decision: use the bomb or prepare for an invasion of Japan. On July 25th, Truman authorized its use.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid many-fold, and the end is not yet. With this bomb, we have now added a new and revolutionary increase in destruction to supplement the growing power of our armed forces. In their present form, these bombs are now in production, and even more powerful forms are in development.
In the early morning hours of August 6th, a B-29 bomber called the Enola Gay flew toward Hiroshima. The plane carried an atomic bomb known as Little Boy. At 8:15 a.m., it was released. "43 seconds later, it detonated about 600 meters above the city. The blast reached temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. A shockwave tore through Hiroshima. In seconds, much of the city was destroyed. Tens of thousands of people died instantly." In the hours after the explosion, survivors walked through a city of ruins. Many did not understand what had happened. There had been no warning of a weapon like this. In the days that followed, radiation sickness began to spread. People became weak and ill, and some who survived the blast later died from their injuries and exposure. 3 days later, on August 9th, A second atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. On August 15, 1945, Japan announced its surrender. World War II was over. By the end of 1945, an estimated 140,000 people in Hiroshima had died. The atomic bomb did more than end the war. It marked the beginning of the nuclear age. For the first time in history, a single weapon had the power to destroy an entire city in seconds. In the years that followed, geopolitical tensions grew between the United States and the Soviet Union. These tensions became known as the Cold War. Both nations competed for power, influence, and military strength. Nuclear weapons became a central part of that competition. Thousands of nuclear bombs were built and tested. Nations formed military alliances, and an arms race pushed both sides to build even more powerful weapons. Hydrogen bombs were developed. Some of them were more than 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Missiles were placed around the world. They were ready to launch at a moment's notice. Over 1 million bomb shelters were built around the world. For decades, both countries lived under the threat of nuclear war. The possibility of global destruction became a constant fear. As nuclear weapons began to spread, the world changed in a way it never had before. War was no longer about the size of an army, but about who had the most powerful weapons. With one decision, millions of lives could be lost. Tensions continued to grow as the Cold War wasn't over. Each side watched the other closely, always preparing for the worst. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world closer than ever to a nuclear war. For 13 days, people feared that a nuclear war could begin at any moment. Even though a direct nuclear war never happened, the threat was always there. Peace depended on leaders choosing not to press the button. Today, Hiroshima has been rebuilt. At the center stands the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, a reminder of the lives lost. Leaders and visitors from around the world gather there to call for peace and the elimination of nuclear weapons. The bombing remains one of the most debated decisions in history. August 6, 1945 was not just the end of a war. It was the beginning of a new era, one that was shaped by nuclear weapons. Even now, countries still have nuclear bombs, and global efforts continue through treaties and agreements to reduce and control these weapons so a tragedy like Hiroshima never happens again. Question 1. When was the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima? If you answered B, you are correct. Question 2. What was the name of the project that built the atomic bomb? If your answer was C, you are correct. Question 3. What event led the United States to enter World War II? If your answer was C, you are correct. Question 4. Why did US leaders consider using the atomic bomb? If your answer was B, you are correct. Question 5. What major global conflict developed after World War II between the United States and the Soviet Union? If your answer was B, you are correct.